Hey yo, what it do? It's your boy Rue, and welcome to Rueality Heavy Rotation, our special feature for the month of May. Of course, you already know I'm sick as hell, per usual, and I'm here interviewing a very special artist that we have here, a veteran to the music scene out in Lawrence. And I'm very honored to have you here and have this conversation. Why don't you go ahead
Appreciate
and
it.
introduce yourself and
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
let's get to it.
I'm Boly, born and raised here in Lawrence. Veteran, that's awesome. I've never actually been called a veteran in the music scene, but yeah, I appreciate
I
that.
mean, you've been out for a while now.
I have, yeah, I have. As an artist, it's like kind of new, not new. It was like a gap. I did a whole Jordan thing,
Okay.
retired, and kind of like whatever, came back around. But yeah,
Let's get right into your past. I love to dig in with artists from their past, their humble beginnings. Tell us a little bit about that. Your coming of age when you found out that you were like down to do music and this is what you wanted to get into and what that journey was like for you.
the journey was it was fun, and so it was really I was really young when I started getting diving into music. So like my family background on my mother's side, they're musicians. My grandfather was a percussionist. He played in like in PR. Everyone kind of knew each other, so he played in like known groups like La Sonora Ponceña, you know, a lot of those little groups, and he kind of was around doing shows. So that kind of like I guess was already inverted into my DNA.
Yeah.
My father's a big, salsa fan. So that guy is just blasting music like every day, full blast.
That's a typical Puerto Rican dad. Right
Yeah,
there.
so growing up, I'm already my mind is just like in the matrix on this music, Latin music,
I love that explanation.
and when it's all going soaking in, I live out here, so I'm already soaking in. My uncle was a big pop fan. My uncle was into like Guns N' Roses, Michael Jackson, Madonna, all that, the freestyle at that era. So I was soaking up all his stuff. And then boom, the fusion with reggaeton started
This
happening.
now all makes sense.
On my style of
This-
music, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I was trying to find a description. I'm like, I don't know how
Where
to
his
describe this. I think it's
Yeah.
alternative. Like for me, it's a little bit like Latino alternative.
Yes.
Or like
Yes, it's
pop
exactly that.
alternative
It's very different from the norm of what
of
reggaeton.
what you're hearing. Yeah.
So it's very different. So my sound was a fusion of how I grew up, basically. So it's like the whole rock, the pop, the freestyle, and my melodic flow of singing is if you kind of really dissect it, it's freestyle. It's lubby dubby. It's the way I sing that little freestyle kind of Johnny O,
Yeah.
George Lamont kind of vibe. And my writing style is like Journey, like
Yep,
like Steve
yep.
Perry and like Phil Collins. Like that writing style is like the way they construct lyrics. It's kind of like how I approach it. And then my music has that Latin side, so I kind of feel my deliverance, but
There's
it's
a little
modern.
dance and electronic thing there.
Yeah, so it's like a lot of the electronic stuff is like it's kind of the development of like over the
style.
age of like
Yeah.
of the combination. Then Rob, my friend, my brother, he's the other half of the key players of the production team that we do. He's like big into like Afrobeat and like EDM, so his touch on it kind of like really molded
Yeah.
our sound when it came to me as an artist. I was like, oh, here we go. And then we just like, we kind of started building. It was like, here we go, let's go, let's do this. So it was like, it was fun. It was fun. So it was like,
What was like elementary school for you? Like being so heavily influenced with music. Were you writing? Were you?
so I also like, I'm an artist. Like I draw and stuff like that. Like
Okay.
I'm a comic book artist. So I do comic art. I did a little bit anime, but I kind of like more of the stuff like Jim Lee, that stuff like that. So I was an artist. I was a graffiti artist also. So when you're that kid, people go to you, "This is my name, draw me
yeah,
this."
I remember that.
So it's like that used to happen to me a lot in school. So, but I was really into, the kids that beatboxed. Some of the freestyle rappers. I'm not like a big freestyle person, like rapping or whatever. Like I'm into rap and all that stuff, but I got into beatboxing, and that's how when I was a youth, I was growing up, and I'm beatboxing, whatever.
Do a little beatbox right
Do
now.
a little bit. Me right now,
Yeah.
my lips too dry for that right now. I couldn't even do it anyways. Like I stopped beatboxing forever ago. So
I know how to beatbox. Aaliyah's what's that song that she did on Dr. Dolittle? Are You That Somebody?
There you go.
All right. Nah, you put me on the spot. Now. I can't do it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I couldn't even do that. And I'm a old beatboxer. I couldn't even do that. But
I don't know why that always stayed like ingrained.
Just inverted that. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Yeah, I couldn't. I think what happened once, why I stopped beatboxing is, my brother was a beatboxer too, but he was like, to me, he's like probably out of the both of us the most talented one. He's a singer too. His vocals compared to mine is just like he's like Angel Lopez, David B's bad type. You know what I mean? Like his voice is like powerful. So a lot of my singing and my kind of flow is like a little bit sort of roe.
Yeah.
I was just like, you don't want to sing? Cool. I'm a vibe this thing.
Let me take
care of it. You know what I mean? Like I'll do it. So one time we're kids. We're walking, around the block, whatever, beatboxing. Another friend of ours, beatboxer. He was a beatboxer. So I've always been kind of creative. So I layer things. So they're beatboxing, they're layering it together. And I'm like, oh, this is dope. He's doing like a little and this guy comes in, and he's doing that whole thing. And I come in, I start adding like hi-hats. And he turns around, he was just like, and I'm like,
he's like, sit your ass.
I was like, damn, man, what? He just looks like, so we're still walking. I come up with like, that asshole. And I was like, that kind of like took away the whole beat. I'm not beatboxing no more type of thing. You know what I mean? I'm like, hey, yo, why the hell is so?
I left the negative.
Yeah, me dejó así. I was just like, I'm not doing that.
So what were your influences when you were growing up and at that age? You mentioned the salsa music.
The salsa was big. There's like specific artists. So, like I grew up urban. I was like a b-boy dancer. I was into beatboxing. I was into freestyle rap and all that. So I was big into, like, I like the salsa stuff. I grew up with that. But like, you'd be surprised. So like around my teen years, like probably 14, 15, I got big into like boy bands.
I wouldn't be surprised.
So I got big. Like I was
listen, all of us Puerto Rican boys, we were into the boy band.
Yeah, like I got into boy bands. I really did. Like I got into like Backstreet and Sync and whatever.
Everybody.
Yeah, like even before that,
I still blast. I still blast Backstreet.
Yeah, even before that, like my uncle, like he used to rock like Milli Vanilli and like New Kids on the Block and whatever, and like I really got into like how the production is. Like the pop feel, the way they and then they harmonized each other, like their vocals all together in sync in unison. Yes. So all that was like very interesting to me. Then came Timbaland.
And just fucked it all up.
Then came Timbaland. Then came those people. You know what I mean?
Tim, if you're listening, how are you?
Yeah, that's King. That's King. He came with his whole, like, he had a sound that's kind of similar early on, but then he started changing it and just kind of like doing all these weird things.
His story is amazing as well.
Yeah, and that's when I was like, damn, like, and I started kind of combining and seeing the evolution of the music and how it's like, how anything could be formed into something, and it'll sound beautiful to whoever. You know what I mean? Some people don't even mess with it, but like I'm listening to them, just like this is great. I love it. I love it, and I started doing the same thing. I started just creating everywhere, just creating, just
That's the best.
doing whatever. Before I even dived into like any program, because I grew up in Lawrence, poor. You know what I mean? I didn't have a studio at the time. At the time, it was like the beginning of digital music.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I didn't have access to it.
Did you go to any programs?
So I'm the type that I'll go to a program and like not commit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't commit. Like I went to Movement like earlier on when it first started, when it was like on Island Street or whatever, and I didn't commit. You know, I got pulled over there and just like, oh yeah. It was just like I'm one of those kids. I'm one of those kids that like even in high school and school, like I was one of those kids that like I walked around with headphones on and like I didn't care that I was even in school. I was there because I was obligated to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I did what I had to do to pass and just graduate and just get out of there, whatever.
You played it smart.
Yeah, so but I was always like, I'm that guy.
Yeah.
I was that guy.
Just drawing
with the headphones
in
on,
your
just
own
like,
world.
you know, if you walking by, like, hey, what up? Oh, a Snicker, thanks. You know? So it's like...
Did you do the talent shows or anything?
No, I didn't, because earlier on I was very shy. I was very shy, and I like the whole thing with the beatbox thing. I thought like if I try to do something, like it'll get, you know,
That
received.
same reaction
Yeah, it'll
that you
get
got.
received wrong, and it's just
And
like,
that's
oh,
crazy because a lot of people they hide their talents because of that.
Yeah.
Because of something that happened in their childhood where somebody told them not to do something or whatever the case. So it's like now they're like, oh, you know, I'm afraid of.
yeah, and like I said, my brother was like the more talented one, and he was like a performer. Like he'll do like shows, and then like he was in church, and like he was like in a traveling band. Like he was like the lead singer in like a traveling band. And he's like doing all these things, and like
Out of Lawrence?
yeah. I think the church was in Lawrence at the time. I don't know the name of the church or anything like that, but yeah, he was doing all that, and I'm at home on like Fruity.
Yo,
Banging out beats. When it came out, it was so crazy. I got introduced to Fruity with a friend of mine.
I could not figure the program out.
Yeah,
I remember
at
just
first
being
I
like
couldn't.
15 and being like, what?
Yeah, at first I couldn't.
And then I'm hearing, because that's when like YouTube started blowing up, and we still had MySpace at the time. And I'm hearing people that produced songs off Fruity Loops, and I'm like, how do you make that sound? Like, I don't know how you make that sound.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, Fruity, when I started, it was just like it was all piano roll, so I'm clicking little boxes, and it's just like
Yeah.
and it's just like, that's great. Let's put the kick in the snare, like not on time. It's just a mess, and I'm just there like, yep.
I think
This is a hit.
Cassie's "Me and You" was produced on Fruity Loops.
I think so. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff that got produced on Fruity, and it's like in the beginning of it, it was crazy.
Let's talk about, so, you know, you went through high school, you were a quiet person. What was it like, you know, when was your first show? Do you remember that feeling, being on stage for the first time, singing your music?
Yeah, I think my first show was like one of these like local like little clubs or whatever. Because I was produced, I was making beats. So around the high school time, I started making, you know, friends in the music, you know, realm or whatever.
Yeah.
And I started connecting myself with the Latin producers and the Latin artists. And so I met an artist at one time in the barbershop. And I was spoken about the person like previously, and then I saw him, then I was just like, hey, you're this dude? Like, yeah, I'm this dude. I'm this dude. Okay. Well, we just kind of chop it up a little bit. I told him that I make beats or whatever. He was interested because he was a singer. He's like a really great singer too. So he's like, you make beats? I make beats, whatever. So with him, we started working over time. I started getting into writing and wanted to perform. So he does a show. So he has like his manager, whatever, was doing shows with him and whatever. So he puts me to open up with my brother because my brother decided to sing. Like we started singing together as like a duo. He was Ken Y. I was like, whatever, Hakeem, the semi-good rapper. So he sets us up for like a show, whatever, with him. And that was the first time I performed. And to be honest, I blacked out. Like when it comes to stage, I didn't have like fear or anything like that. Like I jumped in and I was just like, on some like, I'm Daddy Yankee, whoo, bah, woo, doing all this thing and just like, my brother was more stiff and he's the better artist than I was. And he's already like, you know, and it's like, he's singing, but he still sounds great because his voice is just amazing. So he's singing and I'm just there like, I think I still have pictures of the first time I performed. I have a do-rag on the shirt to like right here.
Of course. I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
You about to shirt at Telos?
Probably. I don't know. No.
They had the $5 big and tall.
I don't know if it was Telos. The one is South by now, where Family Dolls and Blockbuster used to be. PCX. Yeah.
We're different.
Yeah, PCX. The one is South and PCX. Yo, I had a Il Bata.
Oh my God.
Boom, with the do-rag and the glasses I see sticking to my eyes. The ill fucking, the alien glasses.
What was the name of the song that you guys were performing?
I think it was Fuacata.
Fuacata.
Yeah, it was like early like 2000s. It was like, you know, you had your haracatas, your maullas, and your fuacata. Yeah, it was produced by my boy Ra. That's around the time that I met Ra. And no, fuacata was the one that he did. I produced that one. And it was engineered by my boy Justin from Forest Productions. And he kind of did the whole thing. It was actually in his early time as an engineer. And it was just like, hey, let's do this track. And like, my brother sounds amazing in it. And I'm there like just rapping, just like Franco de Gorilla type of like rapping. It was cool. But that was my first song.
Wow.
If I ever find it on a CD or anything like that, I'll let you know.
Yes,
so you
post
can
it
hear
as a TV.
Yeah, like a little throwback. How hard. No, it really was. The song was just like, if I could remember, like I don't forget these songs. It's like Ven Lucete, and I'm like in the background. Come on, girl. Like it was that cheesy. It was that cheesy.
Come on, girl.
Yeah. It was just like fuacata. It was such a cheesy song. It's insane.
All right, let's get right into your first project. What was that process like?
So my first project, when I really started getting like serious and I started singing and like writing for myself, because I used to write for other people and just. So when I started writing for myself, my first project was Conocer Tema. That song is actually on SoundCloud right now. It's not like on the other platforms. I did that song, picked a beat to like YouTube or whatever. I didn't make the beat. I was just like, whatever. At the time, I wasn't really working on beats. I just kind of like veered off the fruity. And I grabbed that one, wrote Conocer Tema, and I was just like, I don't sound bad.
You're like, I could do that. I like this one. Let's keep this one.
Yeah, like I don't sound bad. So I'm there. I had like a rough version of it, kind of showed it to some friends, whatever, saw what they thought. Had mixed reviews. So I kind of kept working on it. And I'm not like the greatest singer like that, but I do little tones or whatever. So I'm there singing, doing the thing. I did one of those things like, all right, I got it mixed, the best, whatever. I had a friend, another engineer friend to mix it. And I released it on SoundCloud. I was like, whatever. It's like my first project. No one's expecting anything. At the time, it was just like a picture with my name on it. People don't even know who it is. So it's like, what I started doing, I started mysteriously playing the song. Not letting know who it is, whatever. I'll just throw it on and just put it on like on a rotation. And I'm like,
a heavy rotation.
And I put it on. Some people would like ask me, yo, who's that? And I was just like, that's me.
Oh.
And they're like, no. They're like, yeah.
You're like, yeah, fuacata.
Yeah. No, Conocer Tema. Fuacata, I wasn't even singing. I was rapping like horribly. But yeah, when I did Conocer Tema, people would ask me, oh, that sounds good. And then it came a time period where I was just kind of like, just alone. Like, I wasn't really working with anyone. I was just like, to myself.
Yeah.
I wasn't, because I wasn't in a group. I was in a group for a little while as a producer.
What was the group's name?
Rhymesick.
Rhymesick?
Yes,
okay.
Rhymesick. So I joined Rhymesick like in 07, 08, around there. I joined Rhymesick. So they reached out to me, really good friends of mine. They reached out to me like on MySpace or something like that or whatever. And they was just like, yo, we heard you make beats. And then at the time I was experimenting with the pop and like with the timbre feel and all that. So they were really digging that. They were like, yo, you could do this, you'll come through. Let's work on some stuff. Met them. And one of the artists is like they're both veterans in music. Like one of the artists is a Latin rapper. He was actually really known out here. He was known as Casper. So back in like 90s and like the Latin Lawrence and Latin market, one of the biggest artists is at the time was Baby Killing and Casper. So Baby Killing Casper was
dropping knowledge.
Yeah, was the biggest like group to come out of Lawrence at the time. Like these guys were traveling, performing, opening for Wisin Yandel. Like when they were starting,
Wow.
they were on the verge of getting signed in PR with like, White Lion Records. Like that's a whole story. I could link you up with Alex, and you could possibly set something up. So I didn't know that when I met him. Like I met him and I was like, damn, this guy's a beast of a rapper. And then his brother's another rapper. He does more American music. And I was like, we met and we're like, yeah, man, let's do something. And then I kind of, he had like his whole little team that kind of like whatever. And then when I came in, I've always had this whole, we could make this into a super team, Diddy style. So I was like, I came in, I started talking to them. Yeah, the vision. I introduced them to my brother. My brother came in and started doing vocals and doing all stuff for them. That's when I introduced them to Raw. And I got Raw into the group. And that dude came in and just started destroying everything that he got his hands on. And just, slowly started like super producing the project that they already had. Because there's a project they had already, but they wanted to make it amazing.
Yeah.
So that's what they wanted to do with the project. Unfortunately, we never released the project.
How many tracks were recorded?
A lot. I mean, we released it years after. It's on SoundCloud now, but we released it when no one cared about it anymore. Like I released it probably like 3 years ago. Well, I hit them all up. I'm like, do you guys care? I'm just gonna drop this tape. Yeah. Like, who cares? It's old, but who cares? So I dropped it. There was probably like almost to like 20 songs in it.
Okay, not bad.
Yeah, so it was great music.
Project.
At the time, we didn't release it for whatever politics, and they had everyone just kind of had their own plan. They were going through whatever they were going through, and we just kind of like split.
Yeah.
And just like so, at that time, I did the Obi-Wan Kenobi. I kind of
went your own.
I kind of exiled myself and just kind of like closed myself to everyone. I didn't really hang with anyone. And that's when I got into really writing for myself. And I came up with the record that I'm releasing soon, Flatline. So I came up with that record like forever ago. The concept of the record, like how I'm going to do it. And I started writing songs. I got like 1 billion songs for that record. And it all started around that time. And that was like 2009 or 2010.
Wow.
And I'm like about to release the thing. It's crazy.
You take your time.
Yeah, I take my time. Like now I work faster, but back then it was just like, it was like me figuring out my sound, figuring out me.
Probably had to do with pressure of like you wanted to make something that was going to be impactful.
Exactly.
And now you're just in a point in your life where you're like
I did my
love to do.
Yeah, like I felt like I did my dues and like I work with so many people and then I've had so much people just give me so much positive feedback to what I'm doing. That I'm just like, damn, like my development, my self-development has gone a long way. So I'm at the point that I'm just like, you know what? Like, I think I'm there to just like, let me release this and let it get, however it reaches people, that's how it reaches people.
Yeah.
Like before I was so like timid and I'm just like, oh.
You were nervous.
I was nervous. I was timid. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know if this is going to be, do I even sound good? Do I even sound, but it's good that I waited long because like over the years of working with famous, like so many artists, amazing vocalists and amazing like R&B singers, or, pop singers, like that helped me be a better singer. Cause there's times that I'll be recording or whatever, and they show up, they want to hang out, whatever, and they're like coaching me, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm learning, so let's go. So like I've gotten better. So like if you listen to Conocer Tema, which is like my first like release ever, and you listen to anything new, yeah. you could hear the development.
I do hear it like in your song
Creía, yeah.
There is definitely a development there. You can hear how well orchestrated you figured everything out to make it flow in a way that it's like not one category. That's why I'm like, I don't know how to categorize this,
Yeah.
but I love it. Like I think it flows out well.
Appreciate it. Yeah, that was part of that whole self development and like the experimenting. I'm big into experiments, so it's like
And then Pobre Corazon,
Pobre Corazon, yeah,
that's
the
a
one with
whole
Bia.
that's a whole different sound.
Yeah,
What was that like?
so I wrote that song. I wrote that song for like a while ago. So there was this whole challenge. There was a Pobre Corazon. There's a Pobre Corazon with Divino. So that's the famous Pobre Corazon song. So there was a challenge with Pobre Corazon that people would do like a little video of them singing the song, and I did it once, and then Divino saw it, and like I got hyped, and I was like, oh my god, he saw it. But then a whole different view of Pobre Corazon as a song popped in my head. So I wrote the song. Originally, the Bia's vocals was a friend of mine. He did it like just kind of like a sit-in. He recorded it just because he has a different tone, a higher tone than I do, so he did it. And then over the years, I just really didn't have anyone to do the song. I went through so many people. There's like so many versions of that song. Until one day I sent it to Bia, and I was just like, yo, listen to this, do you mind? She just got back to me when?
Shout out Bia.
Yeah, shout out to her, man. She just got back to me. She's like, when you want to do this? And I was like, whenever you're free.
Yeah.
And she's like, big pregnancy, shows up, kills it. And I was just like, damn, that's dope.
I got it released.
Yeah, I was like, damn, I'm getting this shit mixed tomorrow. Vamos a sacarle esto. And yeah, she like destroyed it. I was just like, bang, let's do this. And I thought it was cool. Like the fact that even she was like, yo, let's do it. And just in my mind, I'm like, damn, she liked it.
Yeah.
Like I was just like, because I've always had that in my back and like, oh,
yeah.
And then that started going away. I was just like, nah, man, I think I've developed to the point that I'm just like,
you gotta start owning.
Yeah, like I gotta own it and just kind of like, yo, just be very proud of it and just like, just go with it and just like, how it's received is received and just like, bang.
Let's talk about the origination of Key Players.
So the Key Players started so when I told you around 07, 08, I joined Rhymesick. So the Key Players started in Rhymesick. So in Rhymesick, I went in as a producer, as a beat maker. Started working on stuff. I'm not a big key guy. I'm a big percussion guy.
You're a player.
Yeah, I'm a player. So I'm a percussion guy. I came out like my grandfather. So I create drums and like a feel of a song. So the feel of a song is on the bass and the kick most of the time. So in the drums and the bass. So when you get that feel off of that, you could build off of it, whatever. I got introduced to Raw like way before that. And I hit him up. He was a beast in the keys. Like this kid, like I could hum a melody, and this guy would just like that. And I'm just like, yeah, like that. And he would just like kill it. And so I hit him up. He came by. We started killing things together. Like I'm creating stuff, boom, 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 like crazy drums. And he'll come in and just like fill it. Like his style of melodies was like almost like orchestra. Like he'll take like a lead, like a simple lead, but he'll play it like beautiful. And I'm just like, this thing sounds amazing in these drums. And then they were like, the other guys were like, you guys should be like a duo, like a Neptunes,
Okay.
the Runners. At the time, the Runners were big. They were working with DJ Khaled at the time. The Runners. The guys were beast. So like, you guys should be a duo like the Runners. So we started coming up with like a name for us to become the Key Players. And then Alex, which is Casper, the Latin artist I told that, he one day shows up with like a ton of names. He was like, what do you guys think of this? What do you think of that? And then he showed up. He didn't nothing. Came back probably like a week later. He was just like, yo, I got the name. And we're like, what? What do you think about the Key Players? Literally, that's how he developed he delivered the name. The Key Players. To the point that we recorded his vocal. Him saying the name. We were just like, yo, just go record that. He recorded the Key Players. One day I'm going to find it. I'm just going to throw it on IG. Just like that. And we were just like, word.
I like that.
Let's do that. And then Raw was just like, you know what? I mess with that. I'm like, yeah, me too.
So y'all have been the Key Players for a while now, for about 10 years.
Yeah, like me and Raw just like, like I said, there was that time that I kind of secluded myself and he was like doing his thing or whatever. But yeah, we were together for a while. around that time, around the end of my solitude, him and Ernie, which is the other dude that I mentioned, came by and they were working with someone else, trying to produce a record for a mutual friend, and they wanted another producing another ear to help, and I guess they were just like in the whole time they were just like, we need Boly, we need Boly, we need Boly, and they came and reached out to me, showed up at the crib, and they were like, they sat me down like an intervention type of thing. They were like sitting like in front of me, and I'm sitting there. I was like, "Hey, qué pasó?" They were like, "Yo, we need you, bro." And I was just like, "What you need?" They were like, "Yo, we need the sound, man. We need that sound." I'm like, "Okay." So I linked up with them a few times, and then the key players got united again, and then it was just like it ran, still running, like we're still kicking and doing our thing, and it was pretty cool, man.
I love that. So where are you now with your music? Like what projects are you working on? We heard you mention Flatline.
So Flatline is my final first official album. Some of the songs that I have released is gonna be in it, but there's a lot of new stuff in it. That's the first project that I'm releasing officially. That I'm like, yo, this is my first album that I'm gonna release. Haven't really decided on a date, but I'm gonna release it soon. And I have like 2 other projects. So I'm doing like a small EP, which is like straight like perreo type of music.
You know I'm all up in there.
Yeah, so it's all like straight perreo type of music. I'm trying to release that, and then I'm doing the second volume of Flatline.
Okay.
So I'm already in production to those 2 projects, because like the first plan is done. I'm just like ready to release. So I'm just writing. I'm at the solitude point again. So I'm like in there writing, creating beats and whatever, and just like I've already written like probably like 80% of the second Flatline. So it's like the album is pretty much almost there. Right now there's some songs that I wrote for like with features and stuff like that. So I'm just trying to figure out who sounds the best on whatever other songs that I feel I want to bring in people, and just like see how it develops. See what happens.
I love that. What advice would you give to your younger self?
My younger self, stay the course, really. I mean, I wouldn't really change anything. Stay the course. Don't get discouraged. I would tell myself, don't get discouraged with anything you hear, the whispers or anything like that. Just kind of like, just stay the course and do you, man. You're going to develop regardless. So it doesn't matter. Just let it go.
Now let's go 10 years in the future. What advice would you give yourself now?
If I go 10 years in the future, te quitaste. That would be te quitaste ya. I don't know. I don't know if 10 years I'll still be singing or performing like that.
You will be.
I don't know.
You will be. I think that's crazy to say. Like right now, I feel like right now is when you're starting to like really, like you can hear the evolution in your music. So
yeah.
Right now is where there's a sound that's like, okay, now I see where this is going.
Yeah.
And I think that even with your projects that are coming out, like I feel like we're gonna hear that, and that's gonna like motivate you so much more to get
keep
so
going.
much more done.
I hope so, man. God willing, it'll be something that happens. That'll be awesome. I'm trying to develop a more of a like urban Latin reggaeton kind of scene out here. Like I try to do a show. So I did a show at Spicker River, and try to build it off the whole reggaeton party, que sé yo qué. And it's just like
the Gasolina party.
Yeah, I don't even know what Gasolina party is.
It's like we went to one. It's like they tour the nation.
Yeah.
And they book these venues, and they just have a live DJ playing.
Yeah.
Reggaeton, and it's just.
Yeah, so I'm trying. I'm trying to do something like that, and just have, because I know there's a lot of events. A lot of local artists that do here, the R&B ones and all these stuff, and like I love that. Like I've gone to a ton of them, but I want to see that in Latin, because I know so many artists that like to me are amazing that I've worked with, and like I want to be part of it. I want them to be part of it. I want everyone out here to be like, I want to go vibe on some reggaeton tonight. you know, and just like, you know, like I go for the R&B, I go for all that, and let me do some reggaeton. Why not?
Yeah.
You know, I want to dance, you know, down, you know, some hip movement, culito, whatever, you know.
I think it would be dope if you collabed with Natine.
Yeah,
He
I've
did
reached
a
out. Like I
reggaeton
know him
song.
as like, so I'm a barber.
Oh,
So I
okay.
know one of my boys used to cut his hair when we were in Lawrence. I cut hair in Lowell now, and I know him since he was like a kid. So
Yeah.
when I saw him singing all that, I was like, dude, you're amazing, bro.
Yeah, it was really good.
I was like, you're amazing, my guy.
Yeah, I think
Like
it's
I've
just-
never thought of like collabing myself with him. I've never really spoken to him. I've reached out to him to do songs with other people that I'm producing.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm producing this thing. Yo, I would be great if you did this or whatever. But I've never, you know, it'd be cool. I've never really thought of us.
I would love to hear what that sounded like.
That'd be cool.
I would
Come
love
up
to
with
see
something
that.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Definitely
down. I'm down for whatever. If he's with it, I'll sit down. We'll sit down. I'll sit down. We'll do it. We'll get creative and see what we could come up with.
Well, I'm excited to hear the new project, Flatline.
Yes.
And then I'm really excited to hear that Perreo.
Oh, the Perreo one,
So
yeah.
I'll be waiting for those two right there. And
That
then we
one-
have Flatline Volume 2 after that.
The Perreo is a pretty cool project. I'm doing kind of like an evolution of reggaeton kind of vibe. Like you're gonna hear like
Some Vico C style.
yeah, not so much Vico C, more like Hector y Tito, into like Don Omar, into like Tony Dice, into like that evolution of like style of like beats. The songwriting is gonna be more modern. It's more my style of songwriting, but the feel of it is gonna be like that. It's gonna be like like it's gonna be that type of like vibe. Is gonna be dope. Like some of the stuff I have right now, I'm pretty happy with. I'm just like, oh, you came up with that, boy.
Well, thank you for coming on and
Appreciate
having this
it.
conversation. For those of you guys that are tuning in, make sure you check Boly out. Where can they find you?
I do a lot of my music stuff on IG. It's at Yo Soy Boly, YOSOY BOLY.
BOLY or BXLY?
BOLY.
BOLY.
Yeah, the way I have it on the bio is
Oh,
BXOLY.
okay, because I was like, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, it's BOLY. You can see my stuff there. There's a link tree for my music, video, whatever.
And if you've been following the Heavy Rotation the playlist, you've definitely heard his music. He's made it on there a few times.
I did. I was
keep-
hyped every time I saw
keep-
myself.
You know, I keep in rotation our indie artists because we have to uplift them, and their music is just as good as everyone else out there. So, thank you for coming on.
I appreciate it.
I appreciate you for coming. And as y'all already know, my name is Rue Zalez, and I'm blasting off.